first come, first serve on the questions.
Hello, Fred Williams here with a question. The opportunity to have a sensor as a cost to us option, is there any way we could try it out for a while? Do you have a loaner that we could try out to see whether it's worth our while? Or is it once we buy it, it's ours?
I'd have to look into that, but as far as I know, we don't. But we can send. What we could do is maybe send over some. We have some promo materials from Ecobee that would show some videos in terms of how that would work, if that would help, and some testimonials.
It's not so much the information as to actually see if it's going to do what I usefully expect it to do for paying for it.
For sure.
If it's going to do what I want, I'm glad to pay for it. If it's not, I want to take it back. That's bottom line.
Sure. Okay. Let me check on that for you, and then I can get back to Vivian and provide an update on that.
Could I ask a corollary question? The Honeywell thermostat that comes with the second unit.
Yeah.
Is that going to be mounted on the wall next to the fan coil unit the way the existing thermostat is?
Yes. So it would be mounted in the same place as the existing thermostat.
So it's going to have the same issue with picking up the temperature of the water flowing through the walls there. Because the water flowing through the walls, whether it's hot or cold water, influences the background temperature that the thermostat senses, and so it doesn't give an accurate reading. The water flowing through the pipes, right? You understand what I'm saying?
If I may, so the water, yes, coming up the risers, right? The risers are insulated, they're on the outside of the fan coil cabinet. The thermostat is mounted to the cabinet. We do insulate all the back of the thermostat, all the wiring in the back of the thermostat, so it's not influenced by any outside temperatures like that. Am I close to kind of where you're going there?
You are, but in actual practice, it doesn't quite work very well. In actual practice, you can feel the wall itself being influenced by the temperature of the water flowing up through the risers. And so it does offset the temperature by a few degrees.
Fred, if I may interject, I would suggest that you do test out the sensor, and that's going to solve any problems that you might have.
Understand. That's why I was so interested in what the sensor would or would not do.
If I may, on the Ecobee sensor, on that, so it is a pretty good idea if you're finding a little bit of off balance between like a couple of rooms there, that if you put that Ecobee light in and that secondary sensor there, what it does is it tries to balance the temperatures between the two rooms. And it can be pretty effective that way. It can work well. You kind of have to move it around the rooms a little bit, is the experience that I have in helping people to find that level of comfort.
Thank you. Can we move on to the next question, please? Kiga?
Hi there. I hope you guys can hear me. My internet connection is not great. Two questions for you. One, I have a pet bird, and birds are really sensitive to any kind of VOCs, any kind of smells, gases, whatever. Does any part of the process where you guys are sanitizing, or really just any part of the process at all, involve any strong smells or any compounds or something where I should remove my bird from the apartment for the duration of the renovations?
During the remediation process, where I have to put up the plastic containment tent, I do have to use a spray adhesive.
Okay.
So I would recommend, if your bird is sensitive, I would suggest you're probably wise to do that. Thank you.
Okay. And the second question is, I'm looking at Simon's little window there, and it looks perhaps in the background like he has one of these fan coils that we're talking about installed and where he is. On my end, there's the fan coil, and then there's the airflow grate on top. My airflow grates are not only larger than what the ones that you have in the presentation or indeed in Simon's background look like, but the surrounding drywall around them has been crumbling kind of to the point where it's very difficult to even remove, or not remove, like the grate is falling out. Is that going to continue to be a problem if I were to replace it? And sorry, I think my internet is being bad. And are the grates that you offer in a variety of sizes to fit the units that are already installed?
Second question first, the answer is yes. Our grates, all your grills and doors are a standard fit based on the cabinet sizing that you all have. So we match exactly what you have. Regarding the drywall that's around the, the grill that you're speaking of, I'd have to almost see that, but most of our grills now, like they're dual deflection and stuff like that, so you can kind of move them around and that. I'm not sure what may have happened in the past there, but if I need to, I can certainly make myself available to come see it and give you a hand with that.
If I were to buy new grates and then it turns out, like at the moment of installation, that they just won't stay in the wall because my drywall problem is critical, can I get a refund on the thing that I've bought?
I would do that for you or anybody in the building 100%.
Great. Thanks
Right.
very much.
Yeah, no problem.
S. Simic.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Svetlana here, 505. I have a question regarding the process of installation and the size and or dimensions of that tent that will need to be put in. So in the bedroom, there is like a large king size bed, and there is a bookcase right next to this where the fan coil system is. So the length of the space in front of the device can be arranged easily to be 6 feet free space, no problem, but the width is the problem. So is it possible to have tents kind of put in to a smaller width so that, let's say, 6x4 space would be doable or no?
Most of the time I can squeeze those in. I'll tell everybody this in all honesty. If I ask by 6x6, I need 5x5. Okay. You know what I mean? So we can find a way, but what I really look at is, and I ask all the residents, please, if you have any like bookshelves, and that's a great point, bookshelves, anything that's built in, anything that you're concerned that may be in the way, I'd like you to raise that up through the property management, the board, and then I'll make myself available to come see it. All right, myself, my operations team in advance, right, to make sure that we won't have any implications on the day we come to your suite. Okay, but I like everybody to have a look, clear pathway as best we can. 6x6 and items off the walls is so appreciated.
Thank you all.
Understand. Thank
Laurie.
you.
Laurie,
But Dr. I just had to get myself off mute. I have a couple of questions. I think it would be very helpful if you could supply a copy of your slides that you've used here today. I was taking notes, but I think there's some things I was missing because I was writing and other things going, and I think that would be helpful for everybody that's here. A couple of questions on just Jeff, on your the back side in the bedrooms. So both my fan coil units are in the living room and / dining room. And I have vents in both bedrooms. So do you need the stuff, you need that space removed in the bedrooms too? Do I need to be moving end tables or night tables and that kind of stuff? I wasn't quite sure on that.
That's a great question. That's a really good question, actually. And I'd like to bring it to light to everybody. So yes, if you have a fan coil in one room and ductwork going through, for example, your bedroom into another bedroom, we will need to have access to both those bedrooms just to tape those vents off during the remediation process, so we don't have any dust or debris that may release into that area. But as you go from your living room to bedroom 1, that back wall is the one that I need to have clear of any pictures or anything on the wall. As you move to bedroom number 2, we won't be in that room doing any major work that may be evasive and knock. The last thing I want to do is knock a picture off a wall. Okay.
Right, so, but the one in my living room has ducts that go run into both bedrooms.
Right.
So I need to clear stuff from both bedrooms?
No, just the back wall of the first bedroom. Thank you.
First bedroom, okay, thank you.
Yep.
And the other question, my second question, is the thermostat location. People have different thermostats and people have different setups. I know this is silly because the place was built at the same time, but my thermostats are in different locations. My thermostat is outside my one is outside my laundry room. The other is outside in my master bedroom. Above both my fan coil units, I have an adjustment to adjust the speed of my fan. My fan can be high, medium, or low. So the thermostat, it just, is that thing still going to be there? I'm going to have a hole in my wall, or I'm going to have a hole in my wall at the other place? Like
No. If I may, thank you very much for that. What we'll be doing there is we're actually going to put the thermostat right where the fan coil is, that's a fan control switch you were speaking about above your fan coil, right? It's just high, medium, lower, off, right? Yes. And we're going to put the thermostat there, but we're going to put what is called a remote sensor on the other side where your thermostat used to be. Okay, we're going to put a sensor there, but when I set up my thermostat's going to read the sensor, right? Just like your other one did. So it'll be seamless as far as comfort in your suite.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Megan, you're up.
And my final one, and I think I know the answer to this, but other people that might not, and I think it's an important question, is the color of the new grates. If people are to order new grates, are they all white, or is there an option? I've had a sneak peek preview at Dominic's. I'm Dominic's neighbor, used to be on the board when we made the decision to go with this project. So,
I always give the people.
I'm inspected.
Yeah, no, I always give people the choice on the color of the doors and the grills. You can have white or white. That's what it is. No, they're all powder, like they're enamel powder coated white, similar to what you might see on your washer and dryer. You know how that enamel is, like that. So they're fully washable. They're very functional. You can actually lift up a door and change your own filter if you want. Right? They're really good that way, but unfortunately they do just come in white. But if you want to, I will tell you, they are paintable.
Well, because they originally were stainless steel here, that stainless steel color, and mine have been painted, and it's a matter of, do you want it to pop, or do you want it to blend into the wall?
Right. I can just say this first of all, they're made of aluminum, that gunmetal kind of gray, and a lot of them are probably in pretty rough shape after being, taken on and off twice a year for 32 years, right? They're kind of beat up. The new doors look really nice, especially when you think about you have a nice a white grill, you have a nice white thermostat, whether it's a Honeywell or an Ecobee, and then you have a nice white door. It looks really good. It looks really nice from a looks perspective, right?
Thank you very much. Thanks, Lori. Got to move on. Megan, you're next.
Hi, everyone. My question is about the grills and the grates, the new ones. What's the difference between the old ones that are currently there and this, other than color being white or that sort of thing? Like, is there another advantage to them? Are they better? Is there other features on them? Like, why would we change them out if unless it's something to do with color?
No, I can answer that very quickly. Functionality number one, your current setup there, you have to physically remove the door to change the filter in it. Okay, where the new ones now, they just open up with ease. Again, they're made of powder coated white paint, so they're very easy to clean and maintain. A lot of the older grills are probably, well, like I say, they're probably not as adjustable as they used to be. Now, the new grills we have are dual beveled, so you can adjust your airflow within your suite. Okay, so it's a lot more functional.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question. Megan, you still have a question? Okay, next question. By the way, I changed one of my doors and the vent up above and left the other one. The one I changed was kind of beat up and it looked old and sad. So I changed that one, but the other one was in perfect shape, so I left it.
Hi. In the discussion you just had.
Hold on. Sorry, Fred. I got a question here first. Go ahead. The question is about damage to the wall when removing the vents.
Well, to be honest with you, don't really experience too much of that. Everything we bring in is made to fit the existing opening.
Is there any chance that the paint on the wall is going to be damaged? Anything of taking out vents and putting in vents and all that?
Did you hear that? The concern is about damaging the painted wall around the vents and doors, cabinet doors, because she doesn't have replacement paint.
Well, my number one objective is not to do that. Okay, we're very careful about the way we remove them, and we're very careful about the way we replace them.
There was a thank you there. Next question from this room.
Oh, from the top row?
No, hold on. Yes.
Could you repeat the question? I couldn't hear it.
The question is, she's concerned about the operation taking 3 to 5 days right after COVID, and whether the timing is the right time. Okay, well, I don't know if you heard that. Our resident is outraged that it's going to take that long, and the suite is basically unlivable.
So I know so Jeff could probably speak in more detail, but the 3 to 5 days is more for access. So it's really because when we look at scheduling, it's the teams is going to be moving through, for example, a floor. When it comes to actually replacing your fan coil, it doesn't actually take the full 3 to 5 days. And then from a fan coil perspective, you always have at least one that's always working. And then Jeff, I think you can speak to how long it would actually take per fan coil.
Well, per fan coil, the objective is to be able to replace it within 3 days. But on the floor, we need access for 3 to 5, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, to complete the floor. We're going to be working on 2 floors at a time.
Right. And then at least one fan coil is always going to be operational. So if you have 2 fan coils
100%.
in your suite, if you have 2 fan coils in your suite, The installers are going to make sure that if they're working on one, they're not going to be working on the other at the same time. So you at least have a functioning fan coil at all times.
And just if I may, if anybody really requests that our technicians wear a mask upon entry, we certainly would accommodate that, 100%.
Does that, Dominic, does that answer the question?
Are we okay here? Next question.
Can I go ahead
Fred?
now?
Yes, Fred, go ahead. You got the
So-
floor.
In terms of the discussion you had with Lori, you mentioned something that I wasn't aware of. I might have missed it in the earlier part, but this access not only to the front where the fan coil unit is, but the opposite wall behind it. I missed that, other than the fact that you want to block it off so no dust gets in there. My concern is on one of my units, on the wall behind it, I have a 5-high filing cabinet full. It can't be moved without emptying everything.
Now, I can answer that very quickly. As long as we're able to go up and just put some masking tape across it, right? Just to block off that one duct over there, that's all I need. I don't, as long as I got that kind of access, yeah, I can get up and over it. Just, I'm not gonna have to do any work in there, just other than to block it off, that's all.
So is it okay if I block it off and you just inspect my blockage?
No, 100%.
Okay,
Perfect, thank you.
I think it's, I think the next question's Hannah.
Go ahead, Hank.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
I have a couple of questions. One of them, and this is really aside from the building, but it could be for other things for Unilux. I'm very well versed with what Unilux does and supplies the market. My question here, given the experience that all of us we've had with COVID, the filters that come in with these units, are they changing to anytime soon to the HEPA filters as opposed to the cheap cookie cutter $2-3 filters? So that's question number one.
Number one, I'm gonna put in a pleated MERV 8 filter, not what you call, those wireframe media filters that are worth $2. No, we're putting in a MERV 8 pleated filter. If you're gonna look at something in HEPA, I would have to discuss that more with with the Unilux, and our suppliers on that. Our standard filter is MERV 8 pleated filter. I don't encourage going any stronger in a filter. Like if people ask me, can I go MERV 11, MERV 13? I discourage it only because it limits the airflow through the fan coil. I would suggest if it's a MERV 8 filter and anybody's interested, we may want to change the filter a little more often, right? If the building does it twice a year, you might want to do it 4 times on your own. That's why that new access door is very helpful, because you just open it up, put a new filter, and it's very easy.
Yeah, I guess that's like going from a MERV 8 to any other MERVs that are in the market right now. It's not going to be comparable to a HEPA filter from basically bacteria retention and virus retention that the HEPA filters at least claim that to do. I guess my question, given what right now you see a lot of forced air mechanisms that are with HEPA filters coming onto the market, like engineered air. They have products like other companies as well. I could list a whole bunch. I would have thought that by now, given also the benefits for HEPA filters, I realize basically noise that could be as a result, and the pressure on the fan. All of that I realize that, but that's taken care of usually with the proper design. So my question is Unilux heading into that direction, or they want to stay where things are?
I can speak for that, is that we're looking at these every day. We're looking at the new technology all the time, 100%.
You know, because from my perspective, if we're changing the fan coil system, you know, I'd rather have basically the HEPA filter part of a new system, as opposed to having to plug in HEPA filter fans, you know, in an apartment, 2-3 fans to take care of the apartments. You got the fan coil that's doing the same thing as the fan, and might as well design it in a way so you can have the HEPA filters part of it, and that gives you cleaner air. It takes quite a bit of the bacteria and the viruses out of the equations. Anyway, I'll leave that up to you. It seems obviously that's not the case right now. I'll maybe this is another discussion for you know, Unilux directly.
No,
but
we would be the first to introduce it if it was here on the market right now. That we could achieve that. I know I could speak for Iman and the management on the team that we'll be looking for that all the time. We're often into trade shows and that where we see suppliers of these things, so we're always looking.
Thank you, Hannah. Next up is Azim.
I just had one more question. Said just a couple of questions, Dominic. If I may, if you want to give the floor to someone else, I'm okay with that too. So,
Is it a quick question?
no, just out of curiosity, what's the pricing per fan coil for the change? What's the cost?
I'll leave
You
that
asked,
to the board.
we'll declare that. Declare it here, or do we declare it another time? The cost of the fan coils. We did a per unit cost about $600 less than retail.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
Azim?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me? Just somebody nod.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We can hear you.
I'm glad you're not you're replacing it without damaging the drywall and so on. So that's good. But my main question has always been about the filters, just like Hannah said. Can the filters be a better quality than MER 8 or a HEPA filter? Can we investigate that a little bit more? And is that new filter the same as you can buy at Costco or at a Home Hardware? You know, that 24-inch, because that 24-inch doesn't fit in the current system.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a good question. So we order custom filters that are customized for the size that's required for your fan coil. So it wouldn't be the exact same size as what you'd find at, for example, Costco. We have a custom supplier that we use. That said, you know, we can look into the filters, but as Jeff mentioned, what I would also note is that you know, after the fact in the future, as the filters are changed, they could always be changed with, you know, a different type of filter that you'd like as well, or from, you know, the maintenance provider or whatever that might be. But no, we can look into it. But in terms of the sizing, we use custom filters.
So can I just ask you guys or management to just work on that? Because as Hannah was saying, if we have to replace it more often, or as you were suggesting, then can we make it so that it's efficient? If you're spending so much money per unit, then the filter is the most critical part, especially during or after COVID. So the filter size, if we can replace it ourselves sometimes or more often than the management would like us to, then that's the best thing. If you can look at that 24-inch or 25-inch, is there any way that size can be accommodated? You know, the standard filter, and maybe, I don't know if you've tried one unit, maybe try a prototype or a proxy.
So just to be clear, so the filters that are used are based on the size that's required for the fan coil. So we wouldn't want to change the fan coil to accommodate the filter. That said, we can get a proper accounting, the different sizes that are needed, and maybe share that. And then look into what the different options with the HEPA filters and all that are. So we could do that for sure. I don't think we would be able to change the size though to accommodate, for example, like a Costco filter. That said, we can maybe get more information for you in terms of, and for all residents in terms of how to easily access those kinds of filters in the future.
I think that's the critical thing. So if you can look into that, that would be
Sure.
great, Dominic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not just Costco. Like those are 3M filters that are, the color coded blue and green and purple and so on, and whether they're 8 MERS or 11 MERS.
Right. Okay.
So that's the key thing.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Question, please.
Okay. I see a couple.
Hold on, there's a question here.
Sure.
The cost per unit, okay, well, obviously this is a question that more people want to know about. The cost per fan coil unit is $2,995, $2,995, and the Ecobee is $50 for each one. Each fan coil unit is $2,995. No. This is money that we've been saving for a few years that we delayed because of the LRT coming through. That if we had delayed any longer, all the inflation that's happening now would have bumped the price up to something like $26.95 or even higher than that. So the timing was critical. It couldn't have been better. And I think we did quite well. Our reserve fund has about $450,000 more that we're supposed to be saving for the fan coils to be replaced in a few years. By doing it now, we're saving over $400,000. So I think the timing on this was crucial, and Unilux was hungry to get our business back, and we took advantage of it. Sorry, guys.
No problem.
So that's what we've got.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, and in 205, the 7, like an 07 unit has split fan coil units. There's one in the living room that controls the one in the bedroom, and then the second bedroom is split on the other side. So when they take down the one that is controlling the living room and the bedroom, the other one that's in the far bedroom is basically ineffective to maintain the temperature or the comfort level in the whole unit. So how are they planning to deal with that?
Well, we'll have, that's a tough one there, but yeah, it sounds like one side of your unit will be without, right? It'll be for a short period of time, and we're gonna start on September the 12th, so we got about 15 to 18 weeks on the project, so we won't be into the cold weather, so we should be in good shape there. I think we'll be pretty manageable. We'll make sure when we see that we keep moving.
Yeah, the whole point being, like if you say it takes 3 days to do one fan coil unit, then we're basically 3 days without any sort of comfort in the living room or the first, like the master bedroom, basically. So that's where my concern is, whether it's cold outside, whether it's hot outside. I mean, it's not, what I'm trying to get at is basically is that it's either going to be too hot or too cold.
Okay, can I interject here? I was the first one, the first guinea pig, if you will, and my unit has 3 fan coils, and I time-stamped from the moment they walked in till the moment they left. I might be one of the lucky ones because it only took Unilux a day and a half to replace all 3.
So that was my point exactly. I mean, when you say it takes 3 hours to change the fan coil units, and then, but then at the same time, the contradiction is it takes 3 days. So I'm not quite understanding how long each process is going to be. I understand that they need 3 to 5 days on each floor, but I don't think they need 3 to 5 days in each unit.
It sounds like they're just being better safe than sorry, and manage expectations before the beginning. There might be some units that take 3 days because they run into challenges. But I would think that normally the whole thing, the whole suite should be done within 2 days.
Okay, fair enough. I just want to be prepared for it. That's all.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And is there a plan for which floors when? I understand September 12th is when it starts, but does it start from first floor up, or does it start from 30th floor going down, or what's the system?
Dominic, has the board decided which direction?
Please ask.
They're asking about where we'd like to start within the building, all right? Which way we're gonna work? Are we gonna work from the bottom to the top or top to the bottom?
Well, that's been discussed several times, and originally we were going to go top down.
Yeah, we're going.
But there was a reason why you changed it to bottom up, and so maybe you guys want to speak to that.
Yeah, so we are going to be starting bottom up. So we're going to start on the lower floors first and then work our way upwards.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Julian?
Hi, thank you. I was going to also ask, one of my questions was going to be when it starts, but then I realized that I'm pretty much in the middle of the building, so it doesn't matter. In terms of the fan coil units, is there any spec sheets? Is there anything information-wise? Because I am doing a renovation in the unit currently, and you know, we're looking at, just because we have from the sunroom, we have a large duct that connects to the fan coil to feed, of course, supply air into the sunroom. So we're just trying to figure out when we do the ceilings, you know, kind of where and what levels, and you know, how large the duct and things like that need to be, and you know, that sort of thing.
Sure.
First thing on that was I would, as best you can, stick to the existing configuration that you're looking at. Okay, because just to let everybody know that, you know, as we look at our fan coil, we see a door and a grill as we look at it today. In behind that, there's a steel cabinet in there that houses everything. Now that remains in place. We do all our magic inside of that steel cabinet. So I wouldn't try to modify your ductwork in any way. It could get a little complicated on you there. And definitely don't move any thermostats or anything. All right.
Thank you for the question. Irene, you're up next.
Okay, I was just wanting to know about the extra sensor, the EB3 sensor. Is that the one you said works on Wi-Fi?
Yes,
it does.
Yes.
What if there's units where people don't have Wi-Fi or internet access, so they don't have the luxury of installing this smart thermostat?
So the smart thermostat still works even without Wi-Fi. It would just be for most of the features you want to take advantage of. You'd really want to connect it to a Wi-Fi.
Okay, so it doesn't really depend on Wi-Fi. I mean, I know somebody in the building that definitely does not have even Wi-Fi in her unit.
Right.
So how's that going to work?
Irene, you're correct. You're correct. If they don't have Wi-Fi access, right, the Ecobee becomes just more like a functional thermostat to them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, versus being able to have all the mobile applications and such as that. So it would become, you know, in that case, I would perhaps just recommend going with the standard thermostat.
Okay, so second question on Wi-Fi. What
Mhm.
happens if we have another Rogers blackout for 3 days? No Wi-Fi.
The thermostat would still, the Ecobee would still function, just as
Yeah.
Jeff mentioned. It would just be a more of a standard thermostat. You wouldn't have the smart features, but it would still function as a standard thermostat. Even
Yeah, you
with-
So
would
it's,
have-
it's like a fallback feature, right?
Exactly.
Correct.
So it's
All
it's
right.
always going to be functional as a thermostat. It's just those additional features you might lose if you don't have a Wi-Fi connection or it drops out.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can I get a control of the screen here for a couple of minutes?
Sure. Yeah, I made you co-host, so you should be able to control.
Hi, I don't know if there's supposed to be audio on this presentation, but we're not getting any.
Dominic, you're muted.
Dominic, we cannot hear you. You're muted. Oh, boy. It looks ugly.
How about now?
We can hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay, so we saw the ugliness that came out of my fan coil unit, and here's some more of it. And I'm glad. Can you hear that? So they vacuumed everything out within the tent, inside the tent. There was no dust on the floor. There was no dust anywhere. They did a really good job keeping that all clean. And this is what the cabinet looked like after they vacuumed everything out of it. All that was left was the connection to the power and to the water. They put in the new insulation and it looked really, really clean inside. Now, I'm going to stop right here. Do you see the section of my wall that's unpainted? So last time I painted the wall, I didn't take the door off. So when I put it back on, it fit right back over top of that, so you couldn't see it, but there was no damage. Let me carry on. This is what the new units look like, nice and shiny. I'll move a little bit forward, and that's what it looks like after they reinstalled it.
Is Celsius the only option, or for those of us who still like Fahrenheit, is that an option?
Yes, both are options.
Margaret wants to talk.
Oh, I didn't ask the questions that I originally put my hand up for back here.
Margaret has her hand up forever.
Margaret, go ahead.
Hit the space bar, Margaret.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. How would I arrange to get Jeff to come up to my unit. I have a large wall unit that can't be, in my living room, that can't be moved. But the people who come into service it don't have a problem getting into access for service. And I'd like to know if you can tape it off enough, or Jeff or one of the guys can come up before I'm on the 27th floor to have a look, because you can't move the wall unit.
27, what's your suite number, Margaret?
06. 06.
2706?
Yeah, we have 6 units on our floor, not 7. So on other floors, it would probably look like an 07. But I'm 2706.
Okay, Margaret, what I'll do is over the next week or two here before the 12th there, well, 27th floor will be a while before we get there.
Yeah, I know, but I'd like to know.
Yeah, no, I'll make sure I'll connect. Okay.
Okay, that's great.
All right, we'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. I
I
appreciate
made a
it.
note. I made a note here. Thank you.
Jeff,
Okay.
Jeff,
Yeah,
can
thank
you,
you.
Jeff, just to add to Margaret, I'm in the same situation, very heavy bookcase in my unit. So if you can make a note, 2603.
Okay, thank you.
It's in the second
Jeff-
bedroom. The
Jeff
first,
can come up at the same time and see both our units.
that's right. That's why I jumped in.
Thanks, I mean.
I think there's going to be many units like that. To do one unit at a time like that, you're going to have to check that. Everybody's going to say, "Can you come up and see my unit?"
Yes, their solution, right?
Well, they dare, but I'm
No,
not
that's it.
sure.
Like I say, if everybody can have a look at their fan coil unit as it is today and look for things like, built-ins and bookcases and stuff like that that are kind of in the way, if I may say. And if there is special requirements, I would rather know about them now sooner than later.
Okay, good.
And I am more than willing to make myself available.
Good.
And maybe after this meeting, maybe Dominic, you could help. If there's other people that might want to see me, maybe I can make a day or something like that. I'll make myself available, come over and see everybody. I have
Awesome.
no problem with that, right? In advance. I'd rather do that than, the day before,
Good,
I
thank
could do
you.
that. Right?
Suggest that if you have challenges around your fan coil unit, that you let Vivian know that you're one of the challenge suites, so that we could put you all together. And then over the course of a couple of days, maybe we can go visit, Jeff, we could go visit these suites and see what we could do for them.
Best way to do it, 100%.
Perhaps the
Thank you.
RSO could send out an email to that effect, or send a notice saying, if you have any obstacles around your fan coils, please email the office so that you will have a list.
Good
Good
plan.
idea. Okay, listen, we've got about time for 3 or 4 more questions. That's it.
Amin has got his hand up for forever.
Amin, go ahead.
Yeah, I was reading the website of Unilux, and they said that they use vertical slatted fan coils, and these fan coils are energy recovery ventilators. Now we have a problem in our building that we have different smells and odors coming from different units. Will this new fan coil eliminate this problem?
I can try to do my best to answer that, but the answer would be the fan coil relies on the air from within the suite to condition it, right? So it pulls it from the room that it's in. If there is other smells or odors coming from the hallways and being pushed into the suites through the makeup air system, the fan coil is naturally going to pick that up, right? The filter may help a little bit of it, but not much.
Okay.
If that helps you.
Okay. The other question I have this fan coil which you're going to install, is that has got 2 pipes or 4 pipes?
It's a 2-pipe fan coil system.
2 coil, 2 pipe.
It's a 2-pipe fan coil system, yes.
Do you have
Okay.
also like a constant fresh air flow balancing technology in this new fan coil? Like taking the air, fresh air from outside.
No, it doesn't. It uses a combination of the makeup air system that provides pressurized fresh air into your hallways.
Okay.
It comes through your door into your fan coil. The fan coils do not pull from the exterior. They pull from the interior.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we've got a question in the room here. Hold on. Go ahead. Okay, the question is, how long will it take? How much will it cost? Let's say it's going to take more than likely within 2 days. That's my optimistic guess. Unless something goes wrong, it'll be more, but typically it'll be less than 2 days. And the cost to you as an owner, well, all owners are going to be paying for this. All owners have already paid for it, but there's nothing extra that's going to come out of your pocket. It's just coming out of our reserve fund that we've already saved money for this. All right. Later, yeah, yes, later. Okay, thank you. Next question.
Am I up now?
Yes, Fred.
Okay, I have 2 questions. They're from the discussions that just occurred a little earlier. One is regarding the possible future of getting a HEPA filter. Jeff, I believe you mentioned that the reason you didn't want to put HEPA filters in was that it would restrict the flow. So I would take it that if at some point you upgrade to HEPA filters, you're going to have to put in a more powerful motor. Is that true?
No, actually, to be honest with you there, Fred, you know, as technology changes, it's the MERV level, which is it's the standard of how many microns it will filter out, right? HEPA is a different, it's hard to explain, a different definition of filter. So we can't put a filter in a fan coil that will restrict the flow. And by putting even in a larger fan, it still won't be effective, okay? The units are made for MERV 8 to MERV 11, okay? That's our optimal operating level of filtration, all right? I'm gonna look into HEPA, see what's new in the world. Love to catch up with it to see what's changed, especially with COVID. There's been a lot of new innovation. You know, at Unilux, we always challenge ourselves to look for the next new thing, right? Right now, the standard pleated MERV 8 is a great standard that we use, and it's very effective in cleaning, right?
Serena won the set, huh?
Sorry, I had a second question, and that's regarding the Ecobee sensor and using Wi-Fi. And the question is basically, my understanding is in order to use the added features of the Ecobee with Wi-Fi, you need to have an app on your smartphone. And my understanding is the only way to get an app on an Android smartphone is to have Google Play, and the only way to get Google Play is to have a Google account. Is that the case, or are you going to offer an app outside of the Google Play Store?
Well, I'm on my Android here, to be honest with you, and here's my Ecobee app right here. Where am I? There I am. Coming up on my phone. This is my living room in my own home, right? I just went to the.
Did you download that app from a Google Play Store?
I think I put that one right from ecobee.com.
Oh, so
Yeah,
I can get it without going to without having to have a Google Play and a Google account. That's what I'm getting at.
I believe so. I think if you were to search the Ecobee app, online. I believe there's a way to just download the Android app without going through Google Play.
But
For-
I'm in,
That's
Yeah.
my main question. That's
Yeah,
my,
for the App Store, I don't believe you can for iOS, but for Google, you should be able to.